Shout out to the artist in recovery / Darryl P. Don't mind me, I'm not alive awake yet. It's only 4 o'clock in the frickin' morning and my dog's driving me crazy all frickin' night again. Martin Luther King Day, ain't it? The 19th of January 2026. If the 1950s ever saw us, they'd probably think, okay, that's about it, and go back into their soap operas, into their flights of fancy, into their Cold War fear-mongering at this point over here, because they thought the communists were going to be taking over the world, and therefore we had to go into crisis mode. Forgot about Korea. If that wasn't fun enough, they had pigs. That screwed up. Oh yeah, Florida and the Cuba situation, Cuba crisis. Well, 90 miles away we had nuclear missiles ready to blow apart the Florida Peninsula. We also had militaries being produced left and right to go head-to-head if necessary, including submarines with nukes. That wasn't bad enough. We didn't think about the hunger situations because we thought America was prospering. At least that's what the history reels keep showing us, that they were prospering. Were they? You hear that in the background? It's my dog again. The reason why I lose sleep at night. I'm supposed to be taking care of my foot. Give me a second here. You want to talk about my issues? She must be obeyed. It keeps whining all fucking night. This time she didn't take a crap on me. At least not yet, anyway. But speaking about taking a crap on people left and right. Yeah, we had paranoia in our government systems back in the 50s. Remember McCarthy? What, you forgot your history already? Jesus. Darryl, were you even alive during K through 12? Yeah, we even heard about it in my time, going to school out here in the West Coast. We heard about Joseph McCarthy. I kept seeing documentaries online concerning about Joseph McCarthy, videos about the son of a bitch, PBS shows. Ring a bell? Probably not. Figures. And this is coming from a guy who wasn't studying history at all, but studying history without even realizing it. McCarthy back in the 50s had this thing against communists. Now, earlier on in my other videos, I talked about Karl Marx putting out his book about his own views about communists and socialism and stuff. And it made a change back in the late 18 to early 1900s in Europe and filtered through America. But we didn't have a great movement to drive people, just spots here and there. But that was just enough to feed paranoia regarding the Cold War stuff. And since we already seen Russia turn into communists, and we didn't like the idea because they weren't capitalists and they weren't for liberty and freedom, we kept thinking they're all for tyranny. They're out to take over the world. That's why we had the fear and paranoia going in those days. And because we had them, we had televised hearings to embarrass the people, to embarrass Hollywood. If I'm not mistaken, back in the 80s or 90s, actually back in the 90s, Robert De Niro did a movie about it. Concerning about the Hollywood blacklisting. About the Un-American Council. Un-American hearings. If you're un-American, we got to embarrass the living crap out of you and destroy your lives. Well, guess what? We got it right now as it is. We don't have the hearings. We just have the Trump and the government system trying to screw up people left and right. How would you like this one? Trump demanded every damn state for every voter ID to be turned over to him, to his government, for tracking. Texas was compliant. Abbott's a full-in idiot. Always has been, always will be. It's a clusterfuck, and Texas keeps voting the son of a bitch in. So they're just as screwed up. Maybe a few other red states are still doing the same thing to give Trump more and more power. There's a camera out there that the Antelope Valley is going through right now. And it's going through a computer system of tracking everybody in Palmdale and in Lancaster. You talking about your fear and paranoia? We were talking about that back in the 50s where we had to have people. Are they coming after me? And then you have the FBI's knocking on your damn door in the suits and ties and hats and dragging your ass somewhere. No, now we got the militarist assholes here doing it. 1,800 soldiers going to Minneapolis from Alaska. From the Alaska ice-trained, snow-trained 101st Airborne. They're going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Basically to terrorize them. If Trump so deems necessary to put the Insurrection Act in play. And it has not been designated as constitutional just yet. It still has to wind its way through the damn court systems. But, here's the thing. Back in the 50s, we didn't think about the Supreme Court giving almost absolute power to a madman. Or, actually, to the President of the United States, whoever was in power. We didn't think of it. Not even the guys who were in Congress or in Senate thought about it. Well, we got it now. Before Trump got in office and while Biden was doing his last term, Trump won the Supreme Court. If he's still in charge, he's in power, then whatever he's doing is constitutional, it's all right. Which means, is he legally enough to terrorize the entire country? Well, what he's doing. You tell me, pal. You tell me on that one. Finally, she sleeps in my arms, but she can't sleep on the damn floor without winding her head off. I don't have the room on my bed for it. And besides, if I happen to put her on my bed, I'm afraid of her breaking her neck. Or her limbs. Biting the butt. Anyway. Yeah, that's just something getting off my damn chest. There's a lot more to it than that. We'll talk one of these here millenniums. That being said.